Hello, and you have tuned into the Raging Agron channel. I'm your host, TJ, and let's get right into the draft summary. Today we're going over Coach Djingis. I think I pronounced that correctly. I probably didn't, and I'm probably gonna get shouted at. Okay, so Coach Djingis has a very, very scary team on paper. Just so many powerhouses, just the Salamence is sitting there. The Mega Salamence, it's just chilling there. The Metagross, it's sitting there. Then Heligo, ready to Beast Boost up a team to shreds, is just waiting there to kill you. He has so many annoying wall Pokemon. He has a Mandibuzz, he has an Alomomola, and a Ferrothorn. Yeah, oh my god, it's hectic how crazy good that defensive core is. Let's go over each mon specifically. Starting off with the Mega Salamence, it is a Mega Salamence. What else do I need to say about this Mega Salamence? It gets Dragon Dance, it can snowball through teams, it intimidates on its switch-in before its Mega, and it gets Aerial Aid into literal destruction. Just kills everything. I've also seen people run it with Hyper Voice, which honestly I've really never understood. I think it has a solid special attacking stat, but nowhere close to its attacking stat with the stab return hitting one target. It can neutrally KO a lot of things. It gets Dragon Stab, it gets a lot of coverage too. It is very scary to go up against. Next up, we have the Mandibuzz. Part of the 1 out of 3 annoying, stupid mons on his team. They suck. They don't actually suck though. They are very good defensively and can soak up a lot of hits. Mandibuzz, while weak to a decent amount, it is able to have 2 immunities to Psychic and Ground, which could provide it good switch-ins in some scenarios. And it has a lot of, actually not a lot of tools. It has, I think it has Foul Play, it has, what does this thing get? It gets Foul Play, it gets Whirlwind, it gets I don't know, but all I know is that it is very stalling. Feel free to just tell me what else this thing can do in the comments, but I think I pretty much covered it. It can Tailwind. Oh yeah. I was missing the Tailwind there. Tailwind provides vital support to his somewhat sluggish team. He has a lot of decent speed tiers, but nothing too out of the ordinary, and a few slow mods. Like, I can only imagine what that Primarina will do under a Tailwind. Same thing can go for things like the Metagross. I think what he picked next was his Z holder, the Metagross, so not much else to do than to dive right into that thing. It can Agility Sweep, it can Hone Claw Sweep, it can Power Punch Sweep, it can pray for a, what's that move called? Meteor Mash? Yeah, Meteor Mash boost. While most of its very powerful moves are somewhat inaccurate, it also gets a lot of other coverage and well, I already said a lot of coverage, but in a draft league, that can definitely be very, very good. It is not just one-dimensional. It can be run many ways. It can be run as, like, say, a banded bullet punch set, and I can even run Scarf. It has a lot of versatility in Draft League. Some can even argue it's more than its mega form in versatility, just because of the ability to run items. Djingis's next pick is the Nihilego. Nihilego, however you want to pronounce it. This jellyfish thing is just... It is very frail on the physical side, but on the special side, that thing tanks a lot of hits, even hidden power grounds, which are 4 times effective on it, do not affect it that much, especially if you're running an assault vest. Oh man, it just eats hits. And then it can beast boost snowball on top of that. It can set up hazards like toxic spikes and stealth rocks on appropriate weeks when it's necessary. The list goes on. It's a good pick, but it is very physically frail, and Djingis will definitely have to be aware of that. Next up, Djingis has the mon that can do literally anything and be an annoying little pest. We have the Smeargle, which I blame Levi for this, but Moody isn't banned. It's great. I'm totally not screwed. This thing's gonna protect against my team and then just get a free juicy evasion boost off that Moody. It's gonna be great. Okay, all my salt aside about this bugger, it gets access to literally the largest move pool. It can use any move except Dark Void. Yeah, they nerfed him like that. They were sick of him in 2016, weren't they? Okay, so besides being able to put both targets to sleep, which has been stopped, it can put one target to sleep, which is very, I don't know, Spore is 100% accurate. It works against everything except Overcoat and grass types. Pair that up with a Tailwind maybe, and you get a free Spore. You protect, you get a Moody boost, you Tailwind up, you get your Spore down, and yeah, from that, everything basically snowballs. You get things asleep, you get free setup on that Mega Salamence, oh lord. Huh, crazy. Okay, so after this nightmare of a Smeargle, we have the Primarina. This thing is just like Nihilego. It is very physically frail, but it is so specially frail, and it just hits so hard on the special side, especially when you give this thing a choice specs. On top of that, it gets a lot of coverage, including the Fairy and Water Stab, which is definitely very good for this Primarina. Next up, we have Nightmare number 2, the Ferrothorn. It's a Ferrothorn. Even in doubles, this thing is a nightmare. And considering all of his mons, so far, except that Metagross, are resistant or neutral against it, it's probably good that a hidden power fire won't do much to most of the things on this team. Besides the Magnezone, which is coming up next. This thing is also weak to fighting, which the Mega Man's probably just covers for it, all in itself. And this Chandelure coming up just really synergizes with this thing. It's immune to both of Ferrothorn's weaknesses, and it leech seeds, it hazard stacks, even though hazard stacking isn't too useful in VGC, but it has been known to work quite a few times. And then the Ferrothorn, it's just disgusting once it gets leech seeds up. It's the Nightmare number 2. Put it next to this Smeargle, start sporing things. Oh man. Not looking forward to that matchup, that's for sure. Next up, we have the Magnezone. This Magnezone here, it is very interesting to say the least. This is where Djingis' team kinda just starts to not make sense. Like, okay, all of his picks right now seem to be doing pretty good next to each other, but then the Magnezone decided to come along. He already has 2 other steel types, and he also has another 4 times weakness to ground. Well, the argument can be said that, hey, he has a Rotom Heat, he has a Mandibuzz, he has a Salamence. What does he have to fear? He actually has a decent amount to fear, and I'll go into that later. But having 4 ground type weaknesses on a team, 2 of them being 4 times, is definitely not good. I mean, 2 weaknesses and a 4 times weakness could have been managed, but you put on another 4 times weakness, and I just don't see the Magnezone coming to that many weeks. Especially when you have a Rotom Heat, which just fills out so many more of those utility spots, being an electric type, being a fire type, being a levitate mon to support the team. I just don't see the Magnezone doing anything. Kind of feels like a wasted pick, and maybe he'll do some free agency trades after hearing my words here. You never know. Okay, and next up we have the Chandelure. Saya the Chandelure. I'll stop now. This thing, it's a spoopy ghost. It gets all that spoopy ghost things. All those spoopy ghost things. Will-O-Wisp, Hex. Why did I just say Hex? Trick. Stuff like that. It runs a lot of sets very well, like specs, like the specs, the scarf, the Calm Mind, the bulky physical with acid armor. I don't think any of you guys have ever seen that before, but it just works so well in singles. I'm just gonna say that if any of you guys feel inspired to use an Acid Armor Will-O-Wisp Chandelure in the ladder. Yeah, so Chandelure, it does ghost things. It is another Trick Room user if he ever wants to go Trick Room. Next up we have the Hariyama. Hariyama, the big fat arm man. Yeah. It's a pure fighting type with huge attack, especially boosted by Guts. It gets fake out support for the team. And under Trick Room, this thing could be a monster, but otherwise it just doesn't do much. Like, sure, it might be able to pick up a KO, but it gets instantly knocked out afterwards. While it is very fat in the HP stat, its defenses are rather rubbish, and it gets trashed, especially after using a close combat. Hariyama could definitely work on this team, but honestly, I haven't had much success with it, using it in VGC 17, but you never know what Djingis could do with this thing. Next up is Nightmare number 3, the Alomomola, the 3 horsemen of the Apocalypse, the Smeargle, the Alomomola, and the Ferrothorn. Fuck my life. Oh my god. So, completing out the 3 horsemen of the... Wait, no, it's the 4 horsemen. I'm stupid. We have the Mandibuzz, the Smeargle, the Ferrothorn, and the Alomomola. All of them are their separate nightmares, and this Alomomola, it gets a lot of things to do in doubles. It can knock off, it can scald, it can heal pulse, it can wish, it can mirror coat. Okay, it can do a lot of things. It just is kind of a passive wall, except very disrupting to the opponent's team. His last pick here, Rotom Heat. it adds a decent amount of synergy to his team. Of course, it's another electric type for the Magnezone, but then again, it's also a Levitate Mon. It's a very weird scenario, but what I find weird here is it's a Levitate Mon. Most Levitate Mons' usefulness comes in the fact that they're immune to ground and not weak to Rock Slide. Now here's where I'm gonna begin my little rant here about how his team is basically so weak to the Earthquake Rock Slide combo. You can just look at his team here, and while it's a nightmare, it is very, very easy to exploit. You find a way to counter his Miracle Evasiveness, you find a way to get a reliable Mon that can basically tear through his team with Rock Slide and Earthquake, and get something that can deal with the Ferrothorn, and you can pretty much beat the team. Well, the Mega Menace can definitely find opportunities to sweep against any team. Mega Menace works on any team, but like, this team just started getting really wacky all of a sudden. Just like, Rotom Heat, it's very, very good with this team, but not good enough. All of his ground immunities are weak to rock, which is really not good. He's definitely going to have to run Air Balloon on something every week. Maybe not, that might be an exaggeration, but it's definitely going to be a problem when he comes across a team with a ground type that can absolutely demolish him, like, say, a Seismic Toad from the Slow Kings. Okay. Not much else to say, but you're weak, very, very weak to the two most common types in Draft League. So, I was really tossed up here between making it either a 3 out of 8, a 3rd place or a 5th place, because I don't know what I was thinking, but I gave Nathan the 4th place. I definitely see Djingis' team being worthy of a 4th place, but I mean, it was really tough going back and forth here. Like, should it be a 3rd place team? Should it be a 5th place team? And I've decided that while it is a very, very scary team with so many scary things, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 8. Now, again, this would have been a 4 out of 8 if I wasn't so crazy when doing Nathan's team, but it is a very, very good team. Don't get me wrong, it just has really weird both good and bad synergies, and it's very, very weak to the two most common types in the VGC format. It can definitely seem to be an easy team to prep for once you realize the fact that, hey, I just bring a Earthquake Mon with Rock Slide, and then a HP Fire, and then you're basically good once you find a way to handle that Mega Salamence. I would have loved to give this thing a 3 out of 8, but I don't know, it just didn't really feel deserving of it once you just look at it and the weird type synergies. I'm really excited to see what Djingis thinks of this, because I know he's obviously gonna say more positive things about this, and maybe how he's gonna deal with the fact that most of his mods are weak to the combo of Earthquake and Rock Slide. That pretty much concludes my draft analysis for the Colorado Aggrons, Djingis' team. I can never pronounce that correctly, but I think I was close enough. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the second draft analysis of the ABL VGC Season 1. Once again, I'm your host, TJ. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. The link is in the description, and I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. Peace.